the Denver Nuggets, a team that was already dealing with Jamal Murray's injury this year, got the news that another one of their guards, a guy that does a lot of really good things for them, is a big part of the rotation. PJ Dozier tore his ACL. Is going to be out for the rest of the season. And then on top of that, we don't even know if Michael Porter Jr. is going to even play another game this year. That nerve issue in his back is just his injuries always seem to come up for him at the worst times. And even Jokic has been missing games with a wrist injury. So they have a lot going on. Jokic will be back, and he's in the MVP top 3 if he's not even in your top 2 or top 1 right now. But I mean, with all these injuries, where do you think they go from here? Because yeah, they could try to bring MPJ back. They could try to bring Jamal Murray back as soon as possible. But I hate to say it, but they're not going to win the championship this year with all these injuries. What do you think? They just kind of let MPJ sit, and unless he just is fully 100% ready to go, and same with Murray, or do you think they try to push to get into that playoffs and just try to I don't know, because Jokic is good enough to carry them into the playoffs by himself?
Yeah, what this team does is it goes extra cautious, and that's what they've always been. They've always been extra cautious with MPJ, making him sit out his whole first year and all that stuff. So we know their coaching staff and their front office and their medical team is all good, extra cautious. We know they have the best set of interests for their team and everything like that. So that's something we don't have to question about the Nuggets, and we know that what they're going to do again this year. There's no point of bringing Jamal Murray back, come first round if MPJ is not healthy, right? There's no point of bringing MPJ back if Jamal Murray is not healthy, right? So if both these guys are both healthy come March, they both are 100% approved and you've already been extra cautious, then we could see this being that 8 seed dark horse, right? With just 2 all-star level players coming back to the team. And Jokic is good enough to keep this as an 8 seed. The loss that people aren't going to mention a lot, except Nuggets fans and people who watch Nuggets a lot like us, is PJ Dozier. He is a solid bench player, and I think people don't realize that. He plays good defense. He does his role. He's exactly what you need out of a bench guard, and that's going to be a loss. But the Nuggets are deep enough where, excluding their 2 max players and a solid bench role player, they still have a starting lineup of Monte Morris, Will Barton, Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, a bench of Facu Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Bones Highland, Jermichael Green, Zeke Naji is also playing some minutes. You have that bench, you have that assisting help with Will Barton, Monte Morris, Aaron Gordon. Then you have an MVP in Jokic. That's still going to be a 7, 8 seed, maybe a 6 seed. There's still going to be a tough first round exit. And then, you just get those experience, get these guys more prepared for the more bigger roles they play. And next year you bring in PJ back, you bring in MPJ back, you bring in Jamal Murray back, and next year you go for the championship run. This year it's just get these guys experience, get them the bigger role, bigger opportunities, maybe get some time for Bones Island, maybe get some time for Aaron Gordon, Aaron Gordon play make a little more, shoot the 3 a little more, get him to expand his game a little more. But, you experiment with that stuff while Jokic is playing at an MVP, adding you 2 lethal shooters and all-star level players, and hopefully you can make that run next year.
Yeah, and you listed off their 7-8-man rotation there. It's still better than a lot
of teams.
A lot of teams are putting out there that we have maybe as competing for playoff spots. So they definitely could even get into that 6 seed. Just how good Jokic is. And if anything, this probably makes him a better bet for MVP. If you're looking at the odds wise, this is probably better, because I don't think they're going to be worse than an 8 seed. And looking at the help that he's going to have around him. But like you said, if they're both ready to go, both max guys, Jamal Murray and MPJ, if they're both ready to go by March, then very interesting. Very interesting. Now they'll still be missing PJ Dozier, and he's a guy that you might not think about right away, but could be the difference in one playoff game, 1 or 2 playoff games that could swing a series. So it's unfortunate, but you're right that this might bring a lot more out of some of those guys, like Aaron Gordon. He's going to have to play a much bigger offensive role, right?
Yeah, play make more.
And those other guys that you mentioned, play make more. And that might suck right now, but the rewards are going to pay off next year when everyone's fully back healthy. And it's oh, hey, we got these guys who had a bigger role last year. Now we can actually count on them a lot more to carry the load in the regular season and show up in the playoffs. So Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, these Nuggets are
Yeah,
deep, and I don't think anyone will want to play them in the first round, even if it's just Jokic and even if it's everyone else in the team isn't able to go and it's just Jokic and G League guys. I don't think you want to play that team.
yeah. And I think what the Nuggets fans could look for this year is one that's already happening. That's Will Barton's growth and
Yeah.
becoming a better scorer, becoming more consistent. So that's happening. That's good to look at for the next season. Another thing we mentioned is going to happen soon. We hope that's Aaron Gordon's playmaking expansion. Him and that
Hmm.
he's already an elite defender and showing that. And then another thing that's happening, but more consistency, and by the end of the season, you're going to be happy with it, is Monte Morris. Because by the time Monte Morris moves to that 6-man role next year, he's probably going to be a favorite to win 6-man because that's how good he's
Good
playing
point.
right now. So when you have one of the best starting lineups and a great bench because of how much is going to happen, this might be like a blessing in disguise. Just that 1 year off where your bench players could get that role. Because the Nuggets have always been good at drafting. Because we also remember they also drafted Beasley, which they traded to the Timberwolves, right? Because he
Yeah.
wasn't getting no minutes, even though everyone knew he was a good player. They
Hmm.
also had Nurkic
Yeah.
back in the day, right? Because they knew, oh, Jokic is better, but they still had drafted and found Nurkic,
Hmm.
right? So they're a good team. They're good at finding depth. Now you get this depth some more time. You guys are still young. Like everyone's still in their 20s, right? So I hope everyone's just back healthy and next year could be the year.
Yeah. If there ever were a time to play Bol some more minutes, would this
Might
not
be
be the
now.
time? This
Yeah.
might be the time. I was just looking at his minutes right now. They're ticking up just a bit. He's played
Yeah.
3 minutes, 3, 7, 4, 11. Like they're ticking up a bit. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's ever a time to experiment with your rotation, give some guys some minutes that normally wouldn't
Yeah.
get minutes, now's the time.
Try it out. Yeah, like try it out. And like maybe make those like bets on like a second round picks and stuff. Like if you could
Yeah.
get other people, young guys, this is the time to make those little bets because from now to the next 5 years, you guys are going to be contenders who are trying to get veterans and shooters to surround Jokic,
Yeah.
Murray, and
Yeah.
MPJ, right? And Aaron Gordon. So this is the time to experiment with some young guys, take some risks. But after this, you're going to be contenders for a while. So that's something to look forward to.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms and follow us on Instagram.